All right, let's talk about pocket notebooks. I've tried carrying one of these things on and off for years, but today I'm going to talk about the pros, the cons, and why I ultimately decided not to carry one every day. But I'm not giving up on them entirely. Let's talk about it.
I know you've seen the videos about how life-changing a pocket notebook can be.
How writing in a notebook for 30 days changed my life.
And it's changed my life.
It actually changed my life.
I wanted to change your life.
It is life-changing.
But is it really life-changing? Or is it just BS? First, let's talk about the pros of using a pocket notebook. Pro number one, it just feels good. There's something timeless and satisfying about it. I don't know if it's the nostalgia of it or that you're making it like a tactile thing, but it just feels more real to put it on paper. And on top of that, over time, the notebooks kind of develop these little battle scars of wear and tear, of being on the journey of life with you. You get the creased over pages or cover, dog ears, coffee stains, ink stains. They all just kind of add to the character of the thing. And in addition, if you keep a to-do list, the dopamine hit of crossing something off just feels so much better than tapping a button on a screen. Pro number two, no distractions. No notifications, no battery issues, just pen and paper. Have you ever had something that you needed to look up, so you open your phone and then all of a sudden you're pulled into this rabbit hole and you forget why you even were there in the first place? Well, that doesn't happen with paper. Now, I can't blame the distraction completely on my iPhone because I'll walk into the kitchen, open a refrigerator door, and forget why I was in there in the first place. Happens all the time. But when you use a notebook, you get that idea, you can jot it down real quick, no distractions, nothing keeping you from losing that little thought bubble that popped up into your brain. Get it written down and then you go about your business. Pro number three, working memory. Writing things down helps you remember them. That's science. Studies show that the actual physical act of writing things down imprints it onto your mind better than it does if you just type it into a screen. My thoughts are typically half-baked whenever I put it into the notebook, and by putting it in the notebook and I can kind of see my recent notes right next to my current note that I'm putting in, I can kind of always have those previous thoughts just right there in the back of my mind, and it kind of just helps them turn from a little spark of an idea into a complete thought. Pro number four, it inspires creativity. Something about typing on a screen or even using an Apple Pencil is just kind of uninspiring, at least in the ideation phase. It's helpful to have the ability to draw arrows and write sideways and highlight things. Paper is flexible. You can write, draw, you can rip out the pages, you lay them out on the table and reorganize. And when you're first creating an idea, putting it on paper just seems so much faster and easier than to type it onto a computer. Pro number five, it's a record of your life. Even if you only keep a to-do list, it's still a record of the things that you've thought about, the things that you purchased, the goals that you had. Everything that you've done was probably on a to-do list at some point, whether it's the buying the marker or buying the coffee that goes in the cup, buying this camera, buying my microphone. Those were all part of a process. It can just be kind of interesting to flip through an old notebook and just see where you were at and what you were doing at the time, and just kind of the thoughts that you were thinking at the time and how they differ from where you're at today. It's probably not realistic, but I kind of like envision this idea of when I'm long gone and my kids or my grandkids flip through the notebook, they can kind of get an idea of what I was like, and just kind of add some permanency to your life. So that's kind of neat. And now, the cons. But it's not all sunshine and roses. There are definitely some downsides to carrying a pocket notebook every day. First off, pocket real estate. I already carry a phone, a wallet, a knife, my AirPods. Adding a notebook and a pen just started to feel like too much. It's too bulky in my pockets. Con number 2, long-term recall. I can't remember what I wrote 3 pages ago, let alone 10 pages ago, or even an entire notebook ago. I just have to have that search function. And then there's this guy who has over 10 years of field notes. Crazy. I know that there's methods of organizing your ideas and thoughts on paper, like there's the bullet journal index. I can give you an example of the last time I tried to do that index. This is how far I made it in my index. 1 line. Used up the whole notebook. 1 line on my index. Con number 3, the transfer tax. So my thought on pocket notebooks is that these are my working memory. It's not long-term storage, but that means that the notes that go in here eventually have to go somewhere else. So whether it's a to-do, note that I need to keep, all of that needs to be transferred out of the pocket notebook and into my task manager or into my notes app. And a lot of that just feels like double the work. Plus, I really hate having all these different types of notes just jumbled together. I manage 5 different departments at my work, so I've got HR notes next to accounting notes, next to procurement notes, to my IT notes, and they're all just mixed in together. Just kind of having those jumbled up together just kind of makes my brain hurt. I like to have everything in its area. Con number 4, false pretenses. I like the idea of going analog with my calendar and my planner, but time and time again, I've proven that I will not stick to it. I've tried all kinds of paper planners, and every time I get the first one and I fill out that first month, and I feel super productive when I'm doing it. It's really organized, but within days, my schedule has changed numerous times, and if I can't keep up with that paper notebook or that paper planner, it becomes useless within days. It's way easier to keep my calendar on my phone. It's always up to date. Keeping a paper planner makes me busy and not productive. Con number 5, using it on the go. Most of my ideas, or at least my best ideas, seem to come to me when I'm driving or walking around. And in those situations, using dictation or voice notes. Hey Siri, remind me to take out the trash when I get home. It's just far more efficient and effective than trying to do it on a notebook. Alright, so you've heard my pros and my cons, but here's where I've landed. It's not something that I'm gonna keep with me every single day, everywhere I go. Instead, I'm keeping it right here at my desk. I put my 3 essential to-dos at the top, and then the rest of the page becomes my brain dump zone. When I sit down to work and an unrelated thought just kind of pops into my head, I just jot it down quickly and then get back to my essential to-dos. I also write down any other tasks that come up along the way that kind of get in the way of me accomplishing those 3 essential to-dos. And then at the end of the day, I take any of those incomplete tasks and I add them to my task manager. I also take that time to review my task manager and identify my essential tasks for tomorrow, and then I'll write those down on the next page. That way, whenever I come into the office the next day, I'm not trying to think about what to start on first. I can just get there, look at the list, and I'll be on my way. And if you're interested in learning how I conquer my email using Microsoft To Do, check the link in the description. So that's my take on the Pocket Notebook. It's super useful, but it's not a daily item for me. If you found this video helpful or interesting, be sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.
Wow, our notebook is the first clue.